prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
This is Sales Logic.
This is Sales Logic, the show where we dive into those strategies, everything that you need to know to sell more effectively. I'm hanging out here with my partner, Mark Hunter. Mark, been a good week?
It's been a great week, and I'm sure you've had a good week. I know you had some travel delays, but hey, we got a great topic this morning. We're talking about, is customer service the key to sales success? Oh, does that start with airlines? No, we won't go down that path. So anyway, is customer service the key to sales success?
It's funny. I've been in this game so long that they used to be such different departments. But my belief is that business grows from the inside out. One of your favorite sayings is that your reputation arrives before you do. Well, that also means the reputation of the company. So you could be the most amazing salesperson in the world, but if the customer service team isn't delivering at an exceptional level, it damages your reputation, that word of mouth in the marketplace. And it's just going to make it so much harder for you to sell.
Oh, I totally agree. There is so much in what you said there because, when we talk about customer service, it's easy to think, oh, it's just what happens after the sale. No, customer service is before the sale. Like you were saying, it's the reputation, it's the expectations that are set. Customer service is the onboarding of the new customer, and customer service is ongoing, how you treat them ongoing, and all of that impacts the reputation. Hey, good morning, Terry. Great to see you.
So glad to have you here. Listen, I think the thing about customer service when it comes to sales is that it's also the emotional component. It's the way that the customer feels about you. If they have been treated exceptionally well, they'll think very, very highly of your organization and your company. But if not, then it's going to do damage that the sales team can't make up from.
And that's so true because, again, this all plays to that whole reputation, and it's the expectations we set. This is why I believe that customer service begins long before the customer chooses to do business with you. Good morning, Gina. You're right. Business grows from the inside out. It is a powerful line, and we have to realize that.
Yeah. So, let's dive. I love that Gina called that out because let's dive a little bit deeper into that. I think one of the most amazing things that we need to realize about today's marketplace is that as salespeople, we no longer control the buying cycle. We don't control it at all. We don't decide when people buy, why people buy, or whom they buy from. Now, we can influence it, but we can't decide it. And the reason we can't decide it is because we have so much choice. When I was coming up in the marketplace, if I wanted to buy a pair of jeans, I had 2, maybe 3 stores to choose from in my downtown. That was it. And if I didn't like the service in one, I could go to the other. But if they were all kind of operating on the same plane, it didn't matter. In today's world, I can buy a pair of jeans anywhere I want to with a click of a button. So it is the experience that the customer is having that is truly making the difference.
Yeah, because the choice has never been greater, and that's not going away. Bryn Tillman is jumping in. When you focus on serving first, you shift the conversation from what you want to sell to what they actually need. And this is what sales is. Sales is about serving the customer. And she goes on to say that is where trust begins. And trust is the real sales accelerant. It is. There is a reason why we are loyal to different brands and different companies because of the trust, because of the customer service that they've been able to deliver for us. And this comes back to the fact that you can't separate sales from customer service. They are one and the same because customer service also has the ability to gain you a tremendous amount of intel as to what the customer really thinks. Because customer service, if you have a repeatable sale, a consumable product, customer service is speaking to the customers on a regular basis. They're going to understand those trends, those changes much faster than you as a salesperson out there just uncovering new opportunities.
Yeah, I want to say, I think, Bryn, you've got a mic drop here. Trust is the real sales accelerant. Wow, that's a powerful line right there, and it couldn't be the truth. Because, I think far too often where we're making a mistake in the sales experience today is that we're pushing too hard at the beginning of the sale and not pushing enough at the end of the sale. When I mean the end of the sale, assuming that I bought something from Bryn, I just signaled to Bryn, I trust her. And the moment that I trust her, now is her opportunity to be aggressive with me. But I am never going to trust Bryn if her customer service department didn't deliver on all the things that Bryn told me that her customer service team was going to deliver on.
I'm going to add to that, because trust doesn't just happen from customer service after the sale. It really begins at the beginning, because I will contend that in the absence of trust, low price is everything. You stop and think about this. If you don't trust the product you're about to buy, the only reason you would buy it is because the price is absolutely so low, or it was a survival item you had to have. Okay, that usually doesn't happen the latter. So what does it mean? It means it's a low price. So you're right. Trust is absolutely critical. And what's interesting is trust is easily broken. Trust can easily be broken because you could set the right expectations. But if customer service doesn't follow through, trust is broken. And what happens? Then the sale chain, the next sale, the referral, the repeat, the whatever it is that you're looking for doesn't happen. You have to be continuing it all the way through.
Yeah, and so you need to realize as a salesperson that you're dependent upon the customer service team. They don't the customer does not see you as separate. They see you as one. They identify you all as the company. So you can't point a finger at marketing. You can't point a finger at customer service, because they're seeing you as one. And I think Bryn's making such a great point here. Serving positions you as a resource, not as a vendor. And that's how you differentiate yourself in the marketplace, right?
This is going to get you more insight, more information than you ever possibly can imagine, because of the insights that you're learning from the customer. This really takes us to the question, hey, Natalie, you're right. Surprise and delight from the first conversation. And you continue it at every touch point. That is the ultimate holy grail of customer service. And it really helps us point to the question this week. It comes from Jenna in Chicago. She says, our sales team is crushing quotas, but customer churn is rising. How can we balance new goals without losing the customers we already have? I'm going to jump in and say probably what's happening is you in sales are not setting deliverable expectations with your customers. Customers buy for one reason, but the reality is something different. And that creates the disconnect. And that right there can create a tremendous amount of churn.
Yeah, I also think, and there's so many reasons that you could be experiencing churn, but if I were sitting in your shoes right now, I would sit down with customer service, I would sit down with marketing, and I would get on the same page with one plan and one strategy. What is the experience we want the customer to have? Far too often we do not define that. We assume everybody knows. And we don't put together the strategies that we're going to have in order to achieve that experience.
I love what Terry Brock is saying in terms of using Chat GPT and other tools to help you understand. And this points to a very interesting piece. It is easy for us to have macro opinions. This is what the marketplace is looking for. But at the end of the day, the consumer, the customer, has a micro opinion. It's their opinion. And again, this is what customer service can do very well, because if they have that ongoing relationship, which points to another issue, should sales be disconnected from customer service once the sale has been made? No, the two have got to remain in contact, because it's still one customer. Both sides need to continue servicing. But what am I coming back to? It's the fact that each individual customer has their own opinion, and you better be respecting that. Because going back to our question from Jenna, churn could be happening because something was said here and the deliverable over here didn't match. So guess what? The customer says, I'm leaving you as soon as I can. Customer churn. And customer churn is happening more and more because of the instability that we have in today's marketplace.
Yeah, I really want to draw attention to Terry's comment because it's so powerful and so important. He's saying that today is so important, talking about customer service because of tools like ChatGPT. I mean, what we need to understand and what Terry is saying here is Terry may have heard from Mark that I'm awesome, but he is going to go to ChatGPT and find out information about me. And if I have not controlled what the marketplace is saying about me, controlled's probably an overstatement, but influenced, and really thought about what is living out there, then the sale is dead before I ever knock on the door. Really understanding that the consumer controls the marketplace. And the reason I said business grows from the inside out is because no matter how phenomenal a sales call you have, people are still going to do what Terry says here and go to ChatGPT to find out about you. Or they're going to talk to other people at a cocktail party. They're going to watch YouTube videos. They're going to look, and if they can't find information about you or find bad information about you, then you've lost the sale. Such a powerful comment, Terry.
It is powerful because, the sales community has lost some of its cachet. I mean, I'm being very blunt. People don't trust salespeople. What they do trust is their friends, their peers. What is the marketplace saying about them? So they go to those reviews. They go to those other sites to find the information that they don't feel they can trust the salesperson with. And at the end of the day, the two had better match up, because if what you're saying as a salesperson and what the customer is seeing online, hearing online, does not match up, there's a disconnect. And again, no trust is going to be established. And it's going to result to either no sale or, back to Jenna's problem, churn, because expectations don't get delivered.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is we don't think about the customer experience. We don't think about what we want the customer to feel and experience. And then we make the mistake of not experiencing it ourselves. A million years ago, I read an article about JetBlue. It was in Fast Company magazine. And once a year, the JetBlue executives, everybody who was in the C-suite, had to go out and be a customer of JetBlue and experience what JetBlue was providing to the customer. And every single year, they would find that decisions they made at the executive level hindered and sometimes completely ruined the customer experience. But you'll never get that in a conversation. You'll never, you can sit down and brainstorm all day long, but until you role play it and until you walk through the doors and experience what it's like to be your customer, you're never going to understand the friction that's in there.
Oh, I go back to a lesson I learned when I was 16 years of age and I was managing a McDonald's restaurant. Yes, I made hamburgers. Of course, I've ate quite a few in my lifetime. And my boss told me, he said, Mark, when you come to work, you do not come through the back door. You come through the front door, because that's where our customers come. They come. That little comment that he made to me when I was 16 years of age has stuck with me ever since. We do have to experience our product, our services from the lens of the customer, because they have choices and they're making opinions. And go back to what you said earlier, Mayor, they're making opinions and they're sharing them with others. Whoa, we better be careful as to what that's about. Hey, I love Terry's jumping in with the new browser, the new chat browser, Atlas. I've been hearing about it this past week, and it's amazing. You're right. Atlas is a great browser because it's allowing you to do a tremendous amount of comparison. I haven't played with it yet, Terry. I'm sure you have. And it's amazing. This is how much smarter the internet is becoming to help customers making decisions. We better be on our game.
Yeah, I haven't. I just making my Terry Brock notes, which I feel like I make every single week. You and Gina add so much value to this podcast, but I haven't gotten around and played in with Atlas. But I'm going to. I just made a note to do that this week, so that's a note to all our listeners today. But I think I want to go on that line too of understanding that the customer experience is never good enough. You should always be looking to improve the customer experience. Back when my husband had his dental practice, we would role play the patient experience once a month. The staff freaking hated it. Rob didn't like it that much either. But every single week, we would find ways to improve the patient experience, from the time the patient walked in the door all the way through the appointment, all the way through checkout. And we did it for years on a monthly basis. And there was always something that we could improve. The other is it became like a rhythm. Everybody knew exactly what to do when the patient walked through the door, and setting the mindset that a patient is, or a customer is, truly a gift.
There's a lot of what you said there. First of all, that you were in a sales role running your husband's dental practice.
All day long.
I love that. But here's a couple pieces I want to back up to. Sales and customer service need to be on the same page when it comes time to improvements, upgrades, new products, et cetera, et cetera. Customer service, you need to be included in those same marketing and product meetings that sales is participating in. Customer service, you need to be tasked with gaining insights. What are you hearing from customers? And are you passing that along to sales and marketing? KPIs need to be aligned. Now, they don't need to be the same. I don't want the same KPIs, but they need to be aligned between customer service, marketing, and sales. And you notice I'm putting marketing in here because marketing messaging needs to be driven based off of what customer service is hearing. What are they hearing from customers? And when you put these three groups together, now I'm going to be able to get a level of intel and be able to stay proactive with customers. Because the final thing I'll say about customer service is they're tasked with really three things. One, continuing the relationship with that customer. Two, gaining additional sales from that customer and getting into additional doors in that company or whatever. And three, helping to gain referrals. And customer service needs to be part of the action on all of those three. It's not their duty to just fulfill orders, because if all they're doing is fulfilling orders, it becomes just a rote activity and it's going to go downhill pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think going on that line as well, it's really starting to think about the fact that customer service, if you're a salesperson, you should be training them to find opportunity. One of the biggest things that people do with customer service is they complain. And they're not necessarily angry about anything, but they're just saying, gosh, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. It reminds me of the teller line back when I used to be in banking. People will tell so much to somebody at the teller line that they would never tell to their banker or to the CEO or somebody in the C-suite. It's the same thing. I mean, people don't talk to salespeople because they're afraid they're going to get sold, but they'll talk to customer service because they think that customer service is there to serve them, where solving problems so often comes from an additional product or service.
Wow, what you said is so spot on. And I remember a company I was working with years ago, and their customer service team was just part of shipping. They were just part of shipping. And it's like, hold it, wait a minute. All you're doing is just trying to make sure you're getting the order out. And they were missing out on a tremendous amount of intel. And go back to Jenna's question, we're getting too much churn. I'm going to challenge that. I think sales is setting expectations that customer service or the product are not able to deliver. So Jenna, I'm going to say that what you need to do is you need to get customer service and yourself into the same room. And you need to understand what are customers telling customer service, and back that up and make sure that your expectations of what you're selling mirror each other. The other piece in terms of churn is, are you sitting there creating a pricing offer that's not sustainable? In other words, are you doing an entry-level pricing offer that it was fine for the value, but now we go to the regular price? Not worth it. Again, it's amazing how these little subtle things, but differences, can create a tremendous amount of churn.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is that it's that really understanding, is your customer experience different at all from your competitors? And if it isn't, what are you doing to take it up a notch? And then as a sales professional, you need to sell the customer experience, whether people ask for that customer experience or not. I'll give you a really quick example. Years ago, I was working for a CEO that made software for small manufacturers, and he was getting crushed in the market. All of his competition was third world, and his salespeople wanted him to lower the price again. He couldn't lower the price because he was at margin. If he lowered the price, he'd go out of business. And what we did was we talked to his existing customers about why they chose him over the competition when they could get it cheaper somewhere else. And it, bar none, came down to service. It came down to the fact that he'd been in business 20 years. They were tired of dealing with these companies that sold constantly. They could get somebody on the phone. They didn't have a phone tree. They loved the fact that everybody who was in customer service, English was their first language. That was important to them. And we just started using the customer service experience and baking it into the sales conversation so that prospects understood that service was something to think about before they made a decision.
And that is the absolute number one reason why people buy. They do not buy a product. They buy a solution. They're buying a solution. And the solution is wrapped up in the service that you provide. That's where the focus has to be kept. If you're just on the product, and this is where so many companies fall down, then they're completely disconnected with the customer. Hey, time is racing along.
Yeah.
We got a great book. Absolutely fantastic. I read it here a few weeks ago. I highly recommend it. The book is Perspective. It's written by a person who I know, Meridith Elliott Powell. Yes, you gotta read the book. And it's part of your continuing series. Tell the audience a little bit about the book.
Yeah, so Perspective is my third book in the trilogy, Thrive. And Thrive was written about what it takes to really thrive in an uncertain marketplace. The next one was Mentally Fit. How do you build yourself to be mentally fit for a marketplace that is moving as rapidly as ours? And then the last book in the series is called Perspective, which really we should do a whole show on perspective, because how you decide to view the world will impact where your brain goes, the belief that you have, which will impact the action, which will impact the result. So I lay all that out in perspective, give you the tools and the resources you need to really shift your perspective and consistently turn uncertainty to competitive advantage.
It is. It's a great read, and it's going to change your thinking, because again, when we change our thinking, it's amazing how we see the marketplace differently. Okay, lightning round. Are you ready?
I am.
Top ways to increase customer retention.
Number one is build a strategy with your customer service department.
2, make sure the sales expectations match up with what customer service can deliver.
I would say define the customer experience that you want to have and grade yourself on how you're delivering that.
4, totally listen to the customer. In other words, don't just serve the customer, but listen to the customer. Seek their opinion out, not through a survey, but just get them to share with you. Hey, what are you seeing? What are you liking?
Yeah. So what are we at? Number 4?
5.
Number 5, you need to onboard like a pro. I mean, if you want to retain the customer, start the experience really solid.
6, create multiple relationships. It is not just a one-to-one relationship, but depending on the size of the customer is going to dictate the number of relationships that you have with the customer. Absolutely key.
Yeah. Stay in touch even when you're not selling. Don't just reach out because you need something. Reach out and stay in touch and personalize the message.
Number 8, listen to what the marketplace is saying. Again, because customers may be making comments out there. And if you're not reading those forums, those channels, those areas, places out there, you're not going to realize what people are really saying about you.
Yeah. Reward loyalty. Give them something for being loyal to you.
Number 10, make sure that you're at bringing out additional products, additional services. Your ultimate goal is to create an ecosystem. If you think about companies such as Apple, they've got an ecosystem. What do? They keep you in, whether it be right or wrong, they keep you in. Absolutely terrific. Hey, do want to remind people of Sales Logic Expert Exchange. It happens the 4th Monday of each month from 4 to 5 Eastern time. You can go out to saleslogicpodcast.com. You'll see the link there to register. But every month we have a new person that we kind of dig in and really talk to about what's happening out there in the world. Great. And the bonus is that if you're Sales Logic Mastermind members, you get to stick around for the Q&A, which is always really good when we get to go one-on-one with them. So with that, we want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. Something we've said has earned you a single dollar. Consider telling a friend about our show, because it's how we grow when we help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
When you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. We'll see you right back here next week. 8 a.m. Eastern. But before that, join us on Monday, 4 p.m. for Sales Logic Expert Exchange. This one's going to be powerful and you don't want to miss it. Now, go close a deal. See you next week.